Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Ordinals the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely insane, guys, because the news from the last couple of days is going to be what sparks this next bull run. I truly believe it, guys. I've been going through the banners today, and you guys are in for a show. There is so much to talk about. It does look like this tariff crap is back in our face. Doesn't scare me at all, right? This is kind of a really good opportunity for a lot of people to kind of get in the markets. It does look like retail is not here. I mean, I'm looking in these charts. I have this really awesome chart to show you guys in a few minutes. It's really going to show you that retail does not give a crap about Bitcoin. We're going to need alts to start moving. We're going to need Ethereum to start moving. We're going to need other stuff to start moving. Meme coins for retail to come back in. But once they come back in, you know, it's going to be a glorious time, guys. It's going to be really exciting. We have plenty of time, though. Today is obviously the last weekday or last show of May. We enter June tomorrow. So that's pretty big, right? We're going to get our new dot on the Plan B's chart. We're going to get a new feel, right? I feel like at the end of every month, we kind of get this like, all right, we need that like little bit of juice. We need like a shot, right? A shot of adrenaline. So I think we're going to get that in June. Really excited to have that fresh month start, though. I really feel like June's going to be a really big month. July is, as always. Our good friend Colin Talks Crypto actually posted a brand new M2 money supply chart. He's now going with the 88-day frame. So he's changing it. It went from 78 days delay to an 82 delay, and now he's going to the 88 delay. But it does look very correlated to what we're going through right now. We're going to show that in a few seconds as well. But first, let's get right into today's show. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How's it going? How you feeling?
Feeling good. It's Friday, guys. Let's finish the week strong. You know, keep your focus there. Yes, Bitcoin did pull back, kind of like what I was talking about in the Bitcoin price action yesterday. That downtrend was very apparent and strong, right? So couldn't really feel like you could go against that. And so I think that's okay. The pullback, was pretty strong second half of yesterday, but look, if we do tag that 102, we're fine. I think right now is a good time for you to kind of get your thoughts together, make sure that you're still having that same conviction in your current strategy, and feeling like, maybe do I need to add to my strategy? Do I need to, maybe take from my strategy, or do I need to keep everything the same? And these are times that, like, you really need to take advantage of when things slow down a little bit, right? So, because your mind can slow down a little bit, but you got to stay focused. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and you really can't control Donald Trump waking up and just going ham on on his social media, right? On Truth Social. There's nothing you can do about it, right? There's nothing you can do about things that we can't control. But you can control one thing, and to your point, you can control what you're doing right now, right? And we're gonna get into a lot of that stuff. But first, let's kind of get into today's main topic. Bitcoin isn't just back; it's evolving. Runes, Ordinals, and ecosystem alpha. So over the last couple days, I truly feel that maybe we didn't get a lot of big news coming out of the conference, but we did get a lot of ecosystem stuff coming out of the conference, right? We got a lot of, from dot swap to new what they're building over at Nubit with this Thunderbolt, and they sent a
Starknet.
transaction and Starknet, and it's looking really awesome, especially going forward.
It really is. And that's why we named today's show what we named it, right? Yeah, you could say, we talk about Bitcoin ecosystem a lot, but if you kind of collectively get all of these recent updates together, it's a lot. And it tells you that there's so many different parts of the Bitcoin ecosystem that is just continually growing in their own way. It's like an octopus with multiple different tentacles, right? And so that's how I look at it. You got the Cardano side, Fluid's crushing it over there, constantly having partnerships with other Cardano projects, but partnerships with other Bitcoin projects. And now there's this one we'll get into later, with Core DAO, which is going to be cool. And then you have, the Arch Network, which is doing their custom SVM, and you have the entire Bitcoin layer 2, which we'll get into that ecosystem. And so I think that Q4 is going to be a big quarter for Bitcoin ecosystem stuff, but I think the rollouts will be continuous through Q4 into Q1, Q2 of 2026, and we're going to see this explosion of coming back to the mother chain through different paths, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. And the one like drawback is people would say there's no retail here, right? That's kind of like the biggest thing. And you're seeing a lot of building though, a lot of building. The Arch conference alone, you've seen a lot of it in building, investing. It's a lot of structure going on there. And then with Cord, I don't really know much about it. All the projects seem very DeFi related, but like it's just it has to be big money because you're just not seeing a lot of users. Same thing with Merlin. It's a lot of big money, not that many users, because right now retail is kind of just not paying attention.
But who is that good for? I think that's good for the people that are paying attention, because that means that you're early while this infrastructure is being built out.
Sure.
The builders, who they are, which ones are more consistent and the ones that show up more and deliver a little bit more of a product. And so by the time retail shows up, you will already have your research done. Obviously, research is continuous, right? We always promote doing your own research and educating yourself constantly. That never ends. But once you get such a head start on some of these retail normies that decide to join the retail trenches, then you have that advantage, right? So that's why we always say, make sure you're staying in the trenches with education and research and stuff like that, because that gives you guys an edge. And so that's what I'm excited about. And I know that people are like, well, when? Hey, look, you're kind of rolling the dice with your time here. You're saying, hey, I'm going to spend my time researching these ecosystems and these projects and all this stuff, because the reward can be huge and outweigh that risk of spending your time diving in here.
Yeah, for sure. What do you want to go to next with this?
Yeah, let me so what we're going to do is I'm just going to show a couple different ecosystems. What we're going to start off with here is the layer 2 ecosystem. So a couple that we haven't really gone into. First is Core. So you had actually hit it right on the head with Core. Core is definitely the big projects. They've been able to convince some of these big DeFi names, right? Alchemy Pay is one that I think a lot of people know about, right? Anchor is a familiar name there. If you keep going down the list here, so these are all projects that are built inside are building within Core's ecosystem. And then you have like Atomic Wallet. This is one I'm not familiar with, but Avalon. That Avalon actually built on Merlin in the beginning as well. And if you go down here, you can just see that there's, BitGet is participating. They're a pretty big name here. Bima, we've heard of Bima. Bima is also building on Arch. So they are providing this stable token and lending and borrowing, right? Another wallet here. And if you just go through this, you're going to start to see, some big names. Bybit is involved. And I think that the reason why you are seeing these big names is because who kind of initially backed Core, right? It was Coinbase Ventures, right? Being a part of that investment group with them. And Core's token is actually listed on Coinbase. So that gives them, an edge for sure in terms of reputation, right? So I would suggest you guys go to coredao.org /explore /explore/ecosystem, and you can kind of dive in and you'll see some of these names. DBank is going to be kind of this portfolio tracker over here. So a lot of the Ethereum notable brands, right? So what do you think about this? Do you think this is pretty much like a setup of like corporate money came in and they got all the connections that way?
Yeah, I mean, they were one of the first ones. I think they were around even before Merlin, right?
But
As
around the same time they
EVM
launched.
type of, yeah, around the same time. I actually think it was earlier than that. I mean, maybe the coin came out first, but I know Core's been on Coinbase for a
Maybe
long
2020,
time.
maybe 2023.
Yeah, it's been a while, and they've been building this. I mean, Bitcoin DeFi, even before a lot of other ones really came out with Bitcoin DeFi. Then you saw Jeff kind of, with Merlin, kind of really push Bitcoin DeFi with MBTC and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just another EVM where there's tons of them, right? It's just like what's going to set them apart from Merlin, from Botonics, from Hemi, from BitLayer, right? Like what's going to set them apart? And builders is something that could possibly, right? The
Could,
more
because
projects built there.
TVL support is always a big indicator that people look at, and I think Merlin is starting to build that back up, right? But yeah, so core, I think they look good and they're quiet. They weren't like coming into our space and stuff like that. They were just building in the background. So we got to see what's going to roll out, right? But we do know some people are building, like the Bitcoin Derby's actually going to be on Core, I think. So, all right, moving on here to Hemi. Hemi is one that we've kind of talked about recently quite a bit, and so kind of on the opposite side of the world, Coinbase has backed Core, and then we got like Binance Labs backing Hemi.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the two-headed monster here, right? But in their ecosystem, I didn't recognize too many, but SushiSwap obviously is one that's very recognizable. And then you have Pith, Artura, of course, as the perps dex of that ecosystem, which to me, I think that's a pretty bullish symbol, man. If they kind of pick them to be that. Then you have Avalon, we're familiar with them. Portal, we had them on the show. So Portal is going to be doing stuff with Hemi. Layer Zero is going to be helping with some infrastructure stuff there. So they definitely have some names here. You got B Squared, Bima, again, kind of putting their place in a third ecosystem that we've known about. So now we're starting to see some of these builders that are going to be a part of this Bitcoin layer 2 and kind of hybrid with Arch in Bima, right? Bima is that. And then this XStat is very interesting. That logo alone just makes me think that that's a Unisat brand, right?
Potentially.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can head over to hemi.xyz/ecosystem and kind of check them out too, right? So what is this doing? MetaMask right here, Unisat right there, and then Optimism as well. So what is this doing? This actually prepares you to once they do go mainnet, okay, you get familiarized with the projects that are building over there. So that's that one. So with the third layer 2 that I'm going to hit on today is Merlin. So this ecosystem's been out for a while, but some of the notables that we know from our ecosystem, of course, we got Ordinal Hive here, Ords Games. We have Pell Network. Pell Network is a restaking BTC fi. We've known them because I think we actually jumped on a call with them. Pith Network. So we just saw Pith was also on Core, I believe. Maybe it was Hemi that we just went over. But for those that aren't familiar with Pith, it's an oracle, as you can see. So right now, Chainlink has really dominated that Oracle market in the broader crypto space, right? So they were able to charge whatever they wanted, right, for their API and all that stuff. Until now, Pith is really that emerging kind of, hey, look, guys, if you don't want to pay that much, we have another product option for you. Check out Pith. And so Pith is kind of being that chain link for the Bitcoin layer 2 ecosystem. So Merlin is using Pith, and we know some projects that are going to most likely be using Pith, because Pith and Chainlink, they're not only used for price, guys, they're also used for like randomizations. They're used for any type of computation that needs to be automated consistently through smart contract. They provide that, right? Yeah, and then you can see Solve is huge. They're on Binance right now. Surf as well. Surf is really growing. They're actually extended to BNB. It's one of the places that you can actually get the largest leverage to trade Merlin token outside of centralized exchanges. So yeah. You can also head over to Merlin Chain /ecosystem to check out what builders they have here. The last one I'm going to hit on here, and this one is not a layer 2, but it is Arch. And I know we've been talking about Arch a lot lately, but for good reason. A lot of it has to do with, the investment that's been coming in here. You can see these are pretty much the investment channels. You got Pantera, a VC, ABCDE, which is, they pretty much sprinkle their capital everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
And Asymmetric with Dan Held. And so you see some of these other Portal Ventures, Cypher Capital. I mean, there's a lot, right? That are investing UTXO capital here. And so that's their investor ecosystem. So I think that's pretty bullish there. And in terms of their builder network, we had a lot of them on the show. But you got stuff like Honeybee. I can't remember the parent company. You probably
Chentai.
There it is, Chentai. And that's a real world asset stuff that has already been approved by the Singapore monetary regulation department or whatever organization there. And so that's huge. And then you have Saturn that is going to have a unique approach to liquidity pools, but trying to be that home base for trading runes and that type of thing. And then you have Cha-Ching, which is going to have a unique approach to borrowing and lending with a little bit of reputation to scoring and stuff like that to get you better rates or worse rates depending on what your wallet reputation is. So I think we bring all these up because it just shows like how much is being built out there right now and what is being focused on. And we haven't even covered like the ICP ecosystem that's starting to build out with Odin.fun and Rich Swap and the BetBTCs of the world. And so they have their own. And then you got the Cardano side with Tokyo Wallet and Fluid tokens and Maestro, which, mind you, Maestro is a huge API provider for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem, but they came from Cardano. So they knew how to build these UTXO APIs to help developers. So I'm going to wrap it up in a bow with this and say, this is why I'm specifically, and I think you are as well, but I can speak for myself, and bullish for the future of the Bitcoin ecosystem of how much it's expanding. But I don't know. Any thoughts on what we touched on there?
Yeah, 100%. But one thing about like a lot of these layer 2 stuff, if they're not building for ordinals and runes and layer 1 assets, then they're just falling behind. And in my opinion, like you're gonna have stuff like Core, like the Bitcoin DeFi stuff. That's cool. They're gonna have their place, but for me, it's not exciting. Right, it's just like, oh, cool, I get to earn 6-7%. So Core and a lot of those other ones, Hemi and stuff like that, like it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be able to do a lot of the really cool stuff and bridge my Bitcoin there. But a lot of them too have Ethereum on there as well. It's weird. That's why I'm huge fans of Merlin and Arch, and because they're actually building for runes, they're building for the ordinals and layer 1 assets.
Yeah, so something like CoreDAO that's looking to partner with Fluid, I wonder what that mechanism is going to look like, right? Once they have that product out to be able to stake your Bitcoin. And if you can earn Bitcoin, that's a big win. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't know if that was announced yet though, but
oh, okay. So that's something. Okay.
Yeah.
Oops. A little early alpha there for people. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's something that's in the works possibly. But that's where maybe there could be a bridge between. So but I imagine if that's going to happen, they're probably trying to do it on the scalable environment, right?
Yeah, I have some ideas of how they're going to do it, but we'll see. Well, probably have Raul on the show next week, and I'll probably break it down because it does seem like it's coming in fast. So,
Yep.
all right, we go to here. You want to jump over to?
Yep. We can go on to the
All right,
next
cool.
thing. I'm going to take care of something while you're going on to the next thing here.
All right. So, Colin Talks Crypto, Global M2 versus Bitcoin update. After testing many different offsets between 70 and 100, I found 87-day offset currently provides the best average correlation. And let me actually show you his screen here. And it does. It really looks like it is really a lot closer than the previous ones that he has shown. So this is it right here. As you can see over here, it's correlated to a T right here. I mean, this is like absolutely perfect, right? It didn't go that far down. It still can, but it's pretty close here. And, we are seeing this giant upward momentum here, whether this is coming in the next couple of days, next week or something. But I truly believe the first week of June is going to be explosive, and we're going to see something very similar to this right here.
Yeah, I hope so. I feel like they are, it's been pretty accurate up until as of late, but again, maybe we're doing a little bit of an inverse. Like I said, we kind of are in that
this is showing no
opportunity.
inverse at all. This is showing perfection.
No, I'm talking about where we are right now,
Oh,
right? Right
we're
now,
here.
if we
We're
were to
perfect.
if we were to trend, well, we would need to go up. We
Yeah.
would need to
Well,
go up to follow the yellow line, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, this
It-
is saying next week.
yeah, yeah, but like, what about the 102 that a lot of people are talking about tagging,
Well,
right?
that would
Saying,
actually make sense too, because this goes a little further down.
well, we're past that on the Bitcoin
No, we're
price
above
action.
it.
Yeah, so we're
So
forward
I'm just
from it.
saying, like, we could still drop before, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
it's not perfection, right? Like,
yeah.
there is different specs. So we could
But
still go down to there
But let's
before
say
we pop
we
up.
get to 102, but then we tread across that line. It would be very similar to that dip that we saw in whenever that is before the big one. No, in the middle, right there
Right
before
here.
the big one
Yeah,
right there.
this
It's right
one.
in the middle. No, wait, there. One more before. That
Oh, you
big,
mean
yes,
this for
yes.
the okay?
So
You
the
mean the
Bitcoin,
global
the
M2?
Bitcoin
Okay.
price. You see how the Bitcoin price kind of just treads along the
Yeah,
top. So we
yeah.
could do something like that, and
But
then continue
gotcha.
on or do it in the middle. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if even if we don't follow it to a T, we could kind of have like a little bit of some sort of tread line, not necessarily a full on inverse or anything like that, but
Yeah, 100%. I think that we kind of lag it a little bit, but I think we are still going to be up here at 135 second week of June. So next 2 weeks, guys, in my opinion, it's going to get very, very volatile to the upside. I mean, this is just showing that, right? But if not, worst case scenario is we're at 123 by the end of June, which to me that's worst case scenario. New all-time high into the 120s. So I don't know. I still think we get a 135 before we head back down to 123, but we'll see.
yeah.
All right. Let's jump to the next thing here. So Bitcoin always dumps after the Bitcoin conference. So my man Miles Dusher actually put together a chart here, and this is basically every single Bitcoin conference. I'm starting to hate the Bitcoin conference, especially the ones with no news, like we just seen. I mean, there's barely any news. The biggest news was like Ross speaking, like it was the guy who's been in jail for 10 years speaking about Bitcoin. I don't know. To me, I think the conference was a complete shit show in the sense of just not being what it was the previous years, but still we've seen just downward, sideways, downward right after. So it's a little scary right now. That we're
That's
headed
kind of
after the
what makes me
conference.
feel
So
like that we could do that a little bit
yeah,
of
we did see this though,
down
right?
with the
So
trend.
sideways and up, sideways,
But
down.
it did stay true to what it typically does, right? And
Yeah.
that's bring Bitcoin's price down.
Yep. All right. So let's jump to the next thing here. So this week, obviously today is tomorrow is like the last day of June, right? So Sunday is the first. We're gonna see some new dot here, and the dot is looking like it's gonna be a little bit above. This is looking good. It is looking like it's gonna be a delay. So normally what we had here was just having within 6 months up, having within 6 months up, having within 6 months up. Here it looks like we're gonna have having and then 12 months up. This looks like it's still gonna hit this line, but we actually might have to wait till mid 2026 I'm thinking May 2026, we're going to be up at 700K, which is like a year from now, about 11 months from now. And I think it's going to be a slow grind up with dots just correlated upwards, potentially touching this line, heading back down before we go up. There is a scenario, as I think too, that we kind of go on the upside of this line and we hit potentially 1 million by 2028 and then hit 6 million by 2030. But that's something that I'm kind of thinking as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the people that thought that we would hit even 500K by the end of this year, I think it's gonna be hard. And so getting to 250, something like that, maybe 300,000 would be a win in my opinion by the end of this year, and then kind of resetting a little bit. And then if we continue on and have some bullish quarters next year, then we can possibly talk about hitting those goals. But yeah, you are right. In terms of like that entire sideways line that he has there, he has until 2028 to hit it. But 2028 seems so far from here.
Yeah, no, it does 100%. But it does this line right here. I'm kind of seeing 200, 300 around here, right? And then we have another potentially 6 months next year, before mid 2026, early 2020, or maybe even early 2027. You got to remember, like this one back here. All right, we saw in 2017, 2018, it was it peaked in 2018, right, which would be basically 2027.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so honestly, if that is true, like how it repeated, that 1700 or that 700K is not on the table. Because look, that first peak up would be before 2028, because that's whenever the cycle happens in all of those time frames. It's the year of the cycle where it peaks. So you're talking about 2017, 2021, and then
this peaked in 2018 though.
Oh yeah, I mean the month after. So the month after, so I count that still Q4, even though it does creep into barely Q1. It's Q1 technically, but like let's be real. Then 2026 would be technical. It'd be 2026, and then then he wouldn't have till 2028, because 2028 would be the start of the next cycle.
Well, he has the whole line. He said his thing is the 700K by the cycle. This is the cycle.
No, that isn't the cycle. No, it's not. That's a new cycle.
Cycle's 4-year cycle. The new cycle would be February of 2028.
That would be
that's the halving
that's whenever it starts. So like so
the bear market you have until January 2028.
When it starts again to get that first rise up though, the first rise up, right? So that would be what bringing us to let's see, if you look at the previous cycles, we always have that peak, and it's always lower than the previous peak too. You know what I mean? That second one in 2020 and 2021 was a little unique. 2017 though, that second time it rose up on that line was lower than what it priced in at 2018 or whatever you want to call it, that first month. And then same thing with 2012 and 2013. So if we did have a double peak here, let's say we bring the price up to, I don't know, let's say 500K, then that second peak, wouldn't be higher than 500K, because it's never been in the previous lines. If you see there, you get what I'm saying?
No.
Look at every single line that goes horizontal, right? Where is the second peak like way higher than the first one?
See, I think you're looking too much into that. You need
it's a historical pattern.
Cycle. Yeah, but this, if you're telling me if it hits $1 million by 2027,
next cycle,
not right. Next cycle is 2028.
2027. By 2027, if he hits that, then
it would also. What if it doesn't come back down? What if it just goes straight up and then he's right twice?
It would also break the trend of the previous 3 cycles pretty much at that point.
No, but it's still this whole thing is the cycle. You have 4 years. It's a 4-year cycle. Like these are 4-year cycles, right? So no, to me, if
there's always a bull run year though. There's always a bull run year that it.
But what if the bull run year is 2020, 2026?
Then that's different than every other cycle.
No, it's not different, because this was January 2026. It's just an extended. It's just a delayed, cycle. It's still the same thing.
And it's if it hits in January 2027, then I'll give you that.
Yeah, for sure.
But after that, then I feel like it's pretty much 2027. He has that entire year.
I think he has till January 2028, honestly, for it to hit this number. And what if we don't get a bear run? What if we get this upward trend all the way?
That might happen. That might happen,
You know,
especially with like
slow
how
upward
I mean,
grind.
this cycle is definitely different than the previous.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. All right. So we have someone else actually talking about the the M2 money supply, and this is guy. He's been actually talking about it for a while, just as long as Colin, and I really didn't know that. So he is actually showing this chart here. He's saying very normal for the M2 money supply. So this is the M2 money supply followed by here. I don't know his lag, but he's basically very similar to Colin's here, and he's saying the same thing. He's basically saying, do not panic. The dip follows global liquidity. Perfect. So again, another person following this chart, and obviously if we go down here or maybe we go sideways here, I think everything is invalidated, but as of right now, I mean it's perfect.
Yeah, I feel confident in the liquidity cycle because it's been pretty on point. And also, again, remember we had a pullback in November, December when we had that liquidity cycle pulling us up. Then I expect a bit more bullishness on this liquidity injection that we're seeing, the global liquidity injection, because it's more. And then also it's kind of expected. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think this pullback to 102 it'd be okay. I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah, and if we're sitting next Wednesday at 112, I mean, I think we're both agreed that we're going to hit 128, right? If we're back up here, if we go down and come back up here to 112 by like next Wednesday or Thursday, I mean,
I'm still in the camp. I'm still in the camp that we get between 120 and 130. I'm still in that camp until the supply breaks.
Then you're invalidating the chart then.
No, well, it doesn't have to hit exactly.
Go up here and go sideways. I mean, come on.
What
over the last?
No, I mean it could be off by a week or so is what I'm trying to say, or a couple days. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say. So I think you're making a mistake by trying to get the date range down with the supply, because that's gotta be the hardest thing probably for anybody to do. Because right now, I think people were more in the camp of it continually going up and then a pullback and then possibly getting to 130 and then that big pullback. But it pulled back at the end of this month, which maybe we should have looked at, like, the whole end of the month last Friday. There is a Friday today, which is the last Friday of the month, and that whole options shit that happens, right, could be throwing stuff off too. So I don't know. There's a lot of manipulation, but I think in the end, when you do zoom out, I think we get to the same destination that we both think is going to go.
100%. I mean, I think we're both agreed that we're going to, by September, we're going to be at 190, right? I mean, or at least 170, 165, somewhere up here.
I think between both of those, I think that's a good gap. Like 160, 165 to 190.
To 190.
Hitting somewhere in that gap, I think is good, because we do got to remember there's probably going to be a pullback after we do get to this 130 range, to try to scare more people and all that stuff. But then there will be, I think, I think there'll be like there'll be like a let loose moment too, after we get through that. And then we'll see kind of that late November, December moment that we had in 2024, but I think amplified.
Yeah, it's just awesome that we were looking at this chart back here, and now it is pretty much copied it. Like it's pretty awesome to kind of see that kind of doing exactly what we hoped to see.
But it's also interesting to kind of get humbled real quick and be like, when it pulls back, you know what I mean? And I feel like and I say it's awesome in the sense of like you recognize that, yes, this is a good leading indicator to use, the M2 money supply, but always kind of be on alert, and it's okay to have a pullback like this. Now, if we go below, like if we go to 95, then something's off, right? Don't you agree with that?
If we go to 195 or go back to 95, well, we got to throw that in the trash. It's no longer unless it comes back, like we
real quick
dip in 195 and come back,
like a manipulation or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. This summer will be really telling if we throw this chart in trash or we continue looking.
Oh, we can't throw it in the trash. It's done it so good for like at least like.
Well, I'm just saying,
if
it's invalidated, it was perfect for that time. I'm sure if you can go back and kind of see, it probably in the past, it probably didn't correlate it perfectly, or maybe it did. I don't know, but this one is kind of sucks. So. This right here is basically the Google searches and stuff. So Bitcoin retail interest at bear market lows. We were at bear market lows for retail interest. Retail is not in crypto. And we're seeing that on Twitter. We're seeing that in the YouTube views and stuff like that. It's just retail is their tools are crypto Twitter, their tools are YouTube, and their tools are Google. And no one is searching Bitcoin right now. No one is. Interest over time is just, this is bad, bro. How do we get people enter crypto? It's just
alt market, bro.
Institutions.
I think alt market has to be triggered.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this yesterday. It was a great point. Is normies don't want to buy Bitcoin. They look at it and they're like, oh man, I should have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, or dang man, I should have been paying attention like you guys or whatever. But for them, if they hear about these new coins going up, and then they'll come over like, what's new? When people are making money, and then their friends are like, dude, I'm in this new token I made $10,000 on. I put like $500 in or something like that. That's what attracts them, is like these these grand slams, these home run hitters. And so alt market needs to be triggered at least a little bit. And that's actually what happened in 2017 too. Yeah. I remember when 2017 really started to take off, I started hearing about it on the radio, on sports radio. They're talking about, this cryptocurrency market is starting to actually be something, Litecoin is something and they were talking about these other coins, and people listen to that stuff, Yeah. And when they talk about Bitcoin, they always think it's too late. The whales know it's not, but the new people, they need to get into something that will be the next Bitcoin. That's the attraction there, and we need that to happen. I think that will bring back a lot of people.
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%. That's the one thing we need. We need a fart coin to 20x, right? I mean, honestly, we do. We need fart coin to go nuts. We need people to be thinking about it. We need people to say, "What's the next fart coin?" Let me look into this dog thing. That's what we need. We don't Bitcoin going to 200K and alt's not running would be terrible for this market.
That's why I always say that like the Bitcoin meme coin narrative could be such a good normies onboarding tool, because they're like, hey, look, it's not Bitcoin, but they're tokens that live on Bitcoin. So they're on that chain, which is the most secure, and blah, 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 blah. So then to them, they're already looking for the next Bitcoin. So they're like, oh crap, now I can get a Bitcoin token that's new and all that stuff. So
yeah, 100%. Here's something though that can trigger potential all season. So FTX will send $5 billion in stables into users at 15 UTC. So I know. So right now it's what, I think it's around 15 UTC, honestly. But yeah, so this is happening. People are going to wake up to Tether and USDC in their accounts here in the next little bit. $5 billion worth is going to be sitting there in on-chain cash, basically, which is easily to swap on stuff like Uniswap or bridge somewhere else or buy Bitcoin with it. I do see that this is going to trigger, especially over the weekend when people are, a lot of these people, they're people who had like $100,000, $200,000, because a lot of the little guys already got paid out. So this is big money now. Potentially over the weekend and potentially even today, you might see hundreds of millions of dollars pour into altcoins because of this.
I'm not going to get excited about this until one of these announcements actually does something big. Yeah. I mean, is that a fair statement to say?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, Ethereum, you can see Ethereum jump to 3K because of this. I mean,
okay, so if next couple of days it does, then the next time I hear about something like this, I'm gonna get really excited. I just feel like whenever I do see a headline like this, it just doesn't directly affect.
Well, we haven't seen a headline like this though. Not 5 billion.
We've seen paybacks
in one day.
What was it? Mount Gox.
They were the small investors, though. I mean, well, Mount Gox still is being held. The Bitcoin's still being fucking held. It's so annoying.
But a lot of times they're like headlines that tease the industry, the community, and they're just like, hey, this is a big event, whether it's to dump it or whether it's to pump it. Yeah, like it seems like they use these type of things. But
this is happening. Like it's set. The airdrop is set.
So okay, so should I have the expectation for Ethereum to go to 3,000 by the end of this weekend?
I am. I'm expecting it to hit 3,200 by Monday.
Okay, so if it doesn't, then this was a nothing burger, or this is
nothing burger. Okay. Put it in trash. If it ever happens again, then we just know it's bullshit. But I'd be shocked if Ethereum wasn't 3,200 Monday or Tuesday.
All right. I mean, there's a chance. It seems like there's like this like pent up demand brewing underneath it. So we'll see.
Yeah. 100%. All right, let's get into some bad news. Why Bitcoin dropped down to 105 this morning? Trump with a tweet, 8:01 a.m. this morning. The bad news is that China, perhaps not surprisingly to some, has totally violated its agreement with us. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy. The U.S. raised China tariffs to 145% in April. Later in May, cut it 30 to 30% after a 90-day truce. China dropped it from 125 down to 10. It's kind of where we are right now. People are expecting that the next couple hours, we're going to see this tariff being put back to maybe higher than 145. Experts are expecting 175 to 200, which could potentially collapse the markets later today.
Do you think he rolls out of bed and he looks at his phone and he's kind of like, oh, I got to do it? I'm just joking. But
I think he's checking text messages and he's like, because you got to think China is, they're 12 hours ahead of us, right? So he's probably like checking like, God damn it, like an email or something. And he just gets all pissed off and didn't have his coffee yet and just goes crazy.
Or he has a group, or he has a group text and they're all like in there and they're like, you ain't going to like this, but no, it's interesting. It'd be really interesting to see how that process happens. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either if he had like an intern that was like, okay. And he's like, hey, tweet this, but do it in my style or something like that too.
Yeah. And I'd bet $1,000 he made this tweet in his underwear. Whether it's to somebody or not. He was in his underwear when this tweet was being made. Guaranteed. All right. So a little bit more Trump stuff here. Trump meets with Fed Chairman Jerome Powell at the White House. President Trump tells Jerome Powell in person that the Fed is making a mistake on interest rates. We do know within the first 2 weeks of July, I want to say, it is a Fed meeting because we didn't have one in May. Right? I don't think we had one in May. No, we didn't have a Fed meeting in May, so it is one early June. I'll get the exact date for you guys. But what do you think about Jerome potentially? He has Donald Trump now in the back of his mind, right? Let me just do this for Donald. It's not going to make a huge difference. I'll just drop it 25% to show him that we're on the same page, or not 25%, 0.25 of a point. I guess 25% of a point. What do you think? Potentially, this is happening.
This is a broken record, dude. This is a broken record.
Well, this is the first time they've met since he became president. And Trump did appoint him. Kind of loyal to that person. I mean, I would be.
Yeah, but he's also came out and talked against it. Like, whenever they ask him questions and stuff about like the tariffs and they ask him about like rates and he's like, we're going to do what we have to do. I mean, meeting him in person, I don't think it's going to change much unless he sends them like a big warning or something, which I don't know. I'm just like Trump. What I'm talking about is that like the broken record to me is that he comes out and says, I'm not happy with Powell. And then he goes back and then like, oh, everything's okay. I'm not happy with Powell. Everything's okay. And now this is kind of like, I guess they meet in person now. And he's like, I'm not happy with you. I mean, like, I know you've heard that I feel this way.
Think about it though. Now I can actually sit there and talk to you. Hey, listen, like I studied these tires for the last 4 years. I know you're very smart in this, but let's just see what happens if we drop it 25 points. Like, let's come to an understanding. Let me show you my point. You show me yours, and then we'll kind of work from there. I feel like this is that. You know what I mean?
We'll see if his salesmanship is really as good as they say.
Part of the deal, baby.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if he can close that deal and that would help for sure. That's one of the catalysts that we talk about. That can kind of turn things up.
All right, next thing here, U.S. Appeals Court reinstates Trump's tariff. So for about 6 hours, they were blocked, taken off the table. I wonder what happens in that 6 hours. I was like, rush those cars through, or something's happens probably in that 6 hours of the tariffs being dropped for a little while, but they're back. It does seem like this is going to go to the Supreme Court. We do know that Donald has appointed 3 of the Supreme Court justices, and they're going to have his back. And the rumor is that there's a really good chance that this does land on one of their desks. And if not, they will be able to potentially talk to their colleagues about letting this go through. So a judge shouldn't be, an unelected official shouldn't be able to stop this, right? This Congress should have to put a vote in to stop it, in my opinion. It shouldn't be a judge.
Yeah, but then, I mean, I agree with that. Checks and balances are tricky right now, especially right now. This whole administration. Well, I mean, like you could talk about like the purse strings as well.
Congress could step in if they wanted to. So the House of Representatives could step in
and
any
make
second,
a vote,
right?
but they would have to get enough, Republicans to be on the left side and all that stuff. And I mean, sure, but anyways, I wouldn't say every Supreme Court justice that he appointed is a green light for him either, because from what I've seen, Amy Coney Barrett is not necessarily a green light, right? And so you never know if it gets on
something like this though. I mean,
this should be more of a nothing burger, right? In my opinion. But
he's the president. He was voted in. He ran on this. This should not be an issue. So, SEC says crypto staking on proof of stake networks does not involve securities. This is an absolute huge win, guys. This is probably the biggest win that we've had since Gary Gensler stepped down, honestly. So let's kind of show you guys exactly what this means, because there is a bunch of stuff in here. So this is the article that came out. It said, so self or solo staking involves a node operator, not a security. Self-custodial staking directly with a third party, also not a security. Custodial arrangements, which involve custodian staking on the behalf of owners of the covered crypto assets, not a security. So this is 3, absolutely huge. And then immediately, right after this, Canary files an S1 with the SEC for staked Crow ETF. Immediately after this news was dropped. So they were sitting there, waiting for something like this to happen. Now, potentially, we're going to see a staked ETH. We're going to see a staked crypto.com, a staked everything, right? That real yield, real dividends happening in the ETFs.
This is where the game can get crazy. This is where the game can get very crazy. This could bring retail back in just due to the fact we'll see what this, cause and effect type of situation plays out. Now you're talking about large entities with large amounts of capital going into what they deem a safer asset, as in like Crow, which is the crypto.com blockchain and token that runs that chain. So, a hedge fund or whatever, an investment firm or whatever, right, could say, okay, we want to put like millions of dollars into the secure staking vault that it admits Crow, right? Now you have
it would be on a validator, so it wouldn't be a secure staking vault. It would run in the node itself.
But still, though, so like if there's enough in the beginning, and specifically in a run up of a bull market, because whatever they earn, these institutions might not sell right away, right? And so now the supply and demand factor comes in, right? Because now you're having millions of dollars, participate here, locking up lots of Crow or Merle, because Merle is a proof of stake. Which I don't know if he wants to switch from that in the future, but maybe not now, right? Because but my whole point that I'm making is the supply and demand can really take into effect here. And now retail users that say, okay, I want to put together the solid portfolio. Now I think you're going to have these really strong index funds in the future with specific ones that have, these institutions really staking a lot of these tokens that are deemed safer. And getting into that index fund is going to be competitive. But if there's enough institutions participating, I think that helps, that specific token and chain token and stuff. So it's going to be interesting, the dynamics of what we're about to go into, because that was a quick file for that,
And, rumor has it July 15th is going to be that day. Is going to be the day where we're going to see multiple altcoin ETFs kind of get pushed through. So they're kind of collecting them all, and they keep giving them all the same date, July 15th, July 15th, July 15th. It does feel like the new SEC commissioner is kind of getting his ducks in a row here, and July 15th would be an absolute perfect time to do that. But I think this is how alt season starts. I think that, you're going to see potentially a lot of institutions start piling in to these assets, knowing that they're going to get an ETF, right? Institutions are going to come in first. They're going to buy up all these tokens because they're going to get ready to stake them in the ETF, because all you're going to have to do is just buy the ETF. That's all you got to do, and you're staked potentially in these staked ones. There will be ones that are spot. There will be ones that are staked. But, a lot of these investors, in my opinion, they're going to buy ETH up, and they're going to wait, until it pops up. You might see us sell the rumor, buy the rumor, sell the news event happening into July 15th. But eventually it's going to come back, and it's going to come back roaring in September and October, in my opinion. I think this is absolutely what's going to happen here. And this is absolutely the biggest news that we could have got, and we got it in May.
Yeah, yeah, that could be a huge period in July, and it kind of works its way through the Bitcoin price action too with this M2 money supply as well during that period.
Yep. All right. So the SEC drops lawsuit against Binance, and your boy CZ immediately posted an amazing picture of Gary Gensler with a clown nose on, and he said, "Crypto is still here," from CZ Binance himself. Absolutely, he did pay for this. He paid like $4 billion to this man. So
Yeah,
yeah,
$4 billion in what? How many years of his life?
well, that was
4?
last year. I mean, well, 4 months, right? He was locked
4
up for
months.
4 months.
Sorry, yeah, 4
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
4
but
billion.
it's funny though because TZ was saying that
Was it 4 months?
Gary actually applied for a job at Binance before he was SEC chairman, and he
Yeah.
got turned down. And now it does seem like Gary was trying to screw him over, and now it does look like CZ got the last laugh.
Well, there's multiple things between them. There's bad blood between those two, and it's not necessarily CZ. It's more Gary Gensler being, sensitive because of what you just said about that.
Yeah.
And then also the second one was the fact that CZ was the whistleblower for the FTX situation.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And so
100%.
that probably pissed off Gary again. And so, but now he doesn't have to worry about him, it seems like.
Yep. Binance then came out and they thanked President Trump, Chairman Paul Atkins, and the SEC dropped its lawsuit. So Binance did come out after CZ, like, yo, don't do this, man. Like, we gotta thank them. Let's thank them. But yeah, pretty big.
Yeah.
All right. Tether CEO Paulo Ardonio claims Tether experienced Facebook levels of growth and that Bitcoin is ultimate social network. Tether announces it owns 100,000 Bitcoin and more than 50 tons of gold. Absolutely huge. Tether's experiencing do you think Tether experienced a Facebook level of growth?
Yes.
I actually don't. I don't see it.
Well,
you
you don't see it because it's not a social media company. It's not a social media product.
Yeah.
But I think they're talking about from a when Facebook grew from investment and stuff like that. Look, Tether seemed to have been doing the stuff that a lot of retail investors should do whenever they're winning early. Yeah. And that's kind of put stuff in safe, invest in safe stuff. And that's what they did all along the way. I mean, you're talking about bonds, US bonds, you're talking about gold, you're talking about Bitcoin. They're not leveraging their earnings on risky stuff at all. They actually seem to have been doing all the right things. Obviously, we can't see into their books. We can't see what decisions they made. A lot of people did question them, but there's a lot of people that have been trying to take Tether down for the longest time and have failed every single time. They failed every single time. And so to me, I think this is, I do think that they are going to be one of the huge companies that come out of this industry, and they'll be one of the big winners.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Tether, it will be probably one of the top 5 companies in the world one day, honestly. But we'll see. Hester Peirce was on stage. She said she claims meme coins are like collectibles and not like securities. She claims that the SEC wants to create a good environment for the legitimate actors and bad environment for bad actors. So this is pretty big. Hester Peirce, she's a part of the SEC. She's actually top now. She's actually top 3 people in the SEC behind Atkins and the guy who took over for a little bit. So she's big in here, and she's big. I love the fact that they're calling meme coins collectibles. It is hard to kind of put them in the same category in my brain, but I mean, I'm open to it.
It is, yeah, because the way that they're, the units that they come in, it's not it's a different thought process than regular collectible, like ordinals and NFTs. Yes, because they're a single item that are unique. You know what I mean? But the tokens are all the same token. You know what I mean? If you have a million of them, then all million of those equal the same value of each other.
Could it be like collecting quarters? Like people who collect quarters?
Because I mean, unless you're a weirdo that just wants just regular quarters. You're like, I got 1,000 quarters, and
what if it's
you're like, are they rare? Are they rare? Yeah. You're like, no, I love quarters. I'm like, you're weird, dude. You know what I mean?
What about the Canadian penny, or not the Canadian penny? What are the old school?
that
Okay.
actually kind of comes back to like the rare sats to me.
It does.
You know what I mean? So that actually comes back to the rare sats. So like, but hey, look, if she wants to call them collectibles, she can call them collectibles, whatever. As long as they're not securities, then I'm good with it.
Call them whatever you want. I agree.
Yeah.
Spain's biggest bank, Santander, plans to launch a stablecoin. Every freaking bank is doing this, and expand their crypto services for retail client via the digital bank Openbank, per Bloomberg. So Spain, largest bank. This is the biggest bank. Think every corner of probably like Spain. There's a
Bank of America or JP Morgan.
Exactly. Santander. I actually they're in. I think they're in Philly. I think I've seen a couple of these Santander banks. So I don't know. This is absolutely huge. Another bank, another new stable coin. We're gonna have 50,000 stable coins, bro. Like different stable coins.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I think we'll have different bank stable coins, and I think we'll have a couple different bank RWA coins. And they're gonna be known for like I can see for 1,000% like JP Morgan Chase having like their selective coins that are like their top tier products and stuff, stuff like that. It's gonna be a different world, man, once this actually does start to like play out into everyday life.
Yeah, there's gonna be a product that comes out though and says, hey, like we back our product by 9 different stable coins, right? We have USDC, we have Tether, we have Santander, we have Strike, right? So it's just like this stable coin, it can't ever lose backing, because if one drops, the other ones come in and protect it, right? Because you see that with USDC. Once USDC dropped in I think it was 2023, it went down to like 79 cents. Tether actually did the opposite. Right. So if you had a basket of stable coins, when one does shitty, the other one does good, because people dump that one and get into the better one. So a company that, let's just say they have 9 different stable coins as a basket behind their stable coin, that might be the one to hold.
Well, I think there's also going to be looked at. There's going to be like a couple that are going to be looked at as like completely formidable, undestructible. They're just like you cannot like pierce the stable coin. You know what I mean? Like for example, I mean,
and it went down.
But that was so early. I'm talking about like these people that are going to bring trillions of dollars into a stable coin, whether that's someone that takes over USDC or BlackRock comes up with their own or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so everybody's going to want to back their stable coin with at least some of that. You know what I mean? And so we'll see some interesting stuff. I mean, we're speculating here based off of, I think, knowledge that we have in the space, right? So it's kind of I
love the idea of 9 stablecoins backing one. So if one goes down, the other one's kind of protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's just say one goes down, then that you still put you're knocking out some of that collateral for that.
No, because like I said, the USDT went up when USDC went down. USDT was like 120, while when USDC was 79 cents.
Yeah.
So it protected itself. So if you do that with 9 stablecoins, let's say the other 9 go up and this one goes down because people are dumping it into the other stablecoins. I mean, dude, this is like the perfect idea for someone, honestly. This is an easy company that can get started with this. Jack Mallers, CEO of 21 Capital, raises another 100 million by selling convertible notes, bringing total capital raised to 685. Jack Mallers actually came out, and this is a stab at Saylor. He says, announcing proof of reserves for 21 as Bitcoiners. We hear a lot about how Wall Street has arrived to Bitcoin. With 21 Bitcoin has arrived. I don't know what the hell he meant by that, but he basically said that it's all the Bitcoin is going to be in one wallet. You can easily put that wallet into mempool.space, and you can see every single Bitcoin at all times. While Saylor, on the other hand, apparently refuses to show proof of reserves for whatever reason. I think because he's taking yield against some, and he doesn't really want anyone to see that. But Saylor is against proof of reserves, while Jack Maller's here. He's a Bitcoiner. He wants everything on chain.
Well, I mean, technically Tether isn't crazy about showing proof of the reserves either, and so it's kind of like, but I think that's an out if he uses that as an example, because I felt like he looked nervous whenever he got asked that question. Saylor a little bit
at
at the conference. So that worries me a little bit, but at the same time, look, he's also been, people have gone after him, trying to liquidate him, and they haven't been able to succeed either. But I do think this is kind of a jab at possibly Saylor and then anybody that has been questioning Jack Mallers, because Jack Mallers has gotten a lot of shit from Bitcoiners the past like 2-3 weeks, because isn't he the CEO of Tether?
No,
Oh, he's the CEO of something. Like he became the CEO.
21.
Okay, is this a Tether company or something? For some
Tether
reason,
owns majority share. Yeah.
Okay, that's where I got it. That's where I got that mixed up. Okay, yeah. So for him to kind of be a CEO of this, it's like goes against a lot of the ethos that he always preaches about, like Bitcoin only and fundamentals and all this stuff. So I think this is kind of him saying, "Hey, look, don't worry, everything's backed," and all this stuff.
Yeah, but like, you don't think it's a jab at Saylor?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think more to make like Bitcoiners feel safe, because he knows that like that 2 trillion that's being held by like some laser eyes people. Yeah,
100%. Abraxas Capital, a London-based investment management firm, has been making significant moves in the cryptocurrency market, particularly with Ethereum. In May of 2025, the firm has aggressively accumulated ETH, purchasing 580,000 Ethereum, valued at approximately 1.5 billion. So these guys over here are doing the Saylor strategy just with Ethereum. And then yesterday, Fidelity came out and they bought 14,000 worth $38 million. Ethereum's getting bought up right now, and cheap, in my opinion. I mean, this thing should be $4,000 in my opinion, and these guys are just getting it so goddamn cheap right now. What do you think about this company? I mean, these are the big boys, man. This is a big company.
They probably know some stuff about like maybe like the future of Ethereum too, like ways to kind of get that burning mechanism really going. I'm sure that they got to be like, coming up with some sort of, that was an exciting mechanism. A part of their tokenomics was, being able to burn down the Ethereum. And so maybe they know some stuff. I mean, people, people at this level that's investing this much, they definitely are looking for as much information and research as they can. So I'm sure that there's a good reason why they're acquiring it.
I just think it's super simple. I think that the reason is because you can stake it and earn 6% on an asset that you think's going up. I mean, right? Like to me, that's super simple.
That's true. That is straightforward there. I mean, just earning it. But like, why didn't they buy it when it was $1,200?
The SEC now, right? The SEC basically saying.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, but it. Oh, with that new rule, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So, Sol Strategies added 26,478 Sol between May 26th and 29th, bringing the total holdings to 420,000 Sol. Absolutely huge. This Sol Strategies is one of the guys who are just buying up Sol. So you're seeing people right now buy up as much of these proof of stake tokens. Dude, this is so bullish. I mean, these guys have been doing it for a while now. They've been DCAing in, but they're like going to be probably one of the bigger holders of Solana going through this, and potentially staking them as well. So,
yeah, I mean, this is you probably start to see a lot of proof of stake chain tokens get bought up. This is bullish for a token that probably needs a little bullishness right now, in ADA too.
Yeah, 100%. And last thing here, Stripe is early talks with banks to use stablecoins for global payments. So Stripe, the biggest payment company in the world, right? I mean, I don't think there's anyone bigger than them in talks to use stablecoins as global payments, get away from the old system and actually come on chain.
Yeah, why not? I mean, stablecoins is basically using debit card or whatever. It's the same experience. Obviously, it's different, but like in terms of unit of value, it's the same.
I mean, could you imagine like every time you scan your card, you're actually signing a transaction, and then boom, it just goes to wherever that transaction is. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be massive, dude. Like, people are going to be using stablecoins and not even know they're using a credit card. It's going to be massive. All right, let's kind of get into that crypto fear and greed here. So last week was 76. Yesterday was 65. We're on a downward trend here. We're barely in the 60s. Is my
61
today. Yeah, right there. I mean, it's right there. It's 61 right now. So this is not looking good. It's probably going to be lower tomorrow, probably back in the 50s, but I do see us back in the 70s next week. I know I keep saying that, but I mean, I can't stop Trump from waking up in his underwear and being all mad at China. So, all right, let's kind of get into the Bitcoin price action. Brought to you guys by Artura. Artura.finance is the website you guys should all be going to. These guys are going to be going live very, very soon on mainnet. And the chain of choice, the first one anyway, is going to be Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. So potentially when you're using Artura.finance, you'll be not only earning the ARA token, which is Artura's token, but potentially earning incentives from Hemi. So we're really looking forward to that, whether that is a token airdrop or some other incentives. We don't know, but definitely looking forward to using Hemi and Artura. But not only are they launching on Hemi, they're also launching on Botonix. Botonix is the spider chain. It is one of the chains that's really looked at as probably a potential winner in the Bitcoin L2 space. We will see if they can compete with Merlin, but potentially by using Artura, you're going to be earning some type of incentive from Botonix. So definitely, guys, keep an eye out for Artura when they launch and be one of the first users to use Artura.finance.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, smash that like on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And then on the X side, share the space. Let's introduce more and more people to our ecosystem and industry. Same thing with Abstract, guys. Let's jump into some Bitcoin price action, starting with the hour chart here. And it doesn't look that much better than yesterday. Actually, it looks a little bit worse if we're looking at like where we started off. But I mean, this downtrend is really kind of extended out. It's like back to back too. It started. There was one that kind of started here. Let me grab that in right there, right? And it, yeah, it definitely was two different ones though. Goodness, it's like that's kind of frustrating right here. And then you have this one that kind of, we got a little bit of a correction back up. You saw right here, this part, but then we're starting a deep one right now, right? So it's almost kind of like a continuation here of just this downtrend, man. This is starting from going from 110,500 all the way to where we are 105,400. So, I mean, look, the indicators don't look great for the hour chart. You see, we've been up here and overbought for a while. Looks like it's ready to head down. I don't know, maybe a little bit of a pause. Maybe it looks like this leading indicator line doesn't necessarily want to go straight down, so maybe we work our way down. The buy pressure on the MACD doesn't look strong. Yeah, I know this just turned back to dark green here, but the only kind of silver lining that I see here, or I should say not necessarily silver lining, but like positive maybe, is that this blue line, the leading MACD blue indicator line isn't, it's kind of like what the stochastics line is doing, right? It's not pointing down yet. So there might be a little bit of a reversal here. We could see something like that. And maybe, this was a pretty straight down right here. So it looks like we might be going sideways for a little bit. Maybe we do kind of change trajectory for the second half of today. I could see that happening, especially with the sideways action. That's something that's getting me a little bit curious. But then we could do something like this, where it looked like maybe we would change trajectory out of this and we just saw another dump here. Look, I think the faster we get to that 102, if we get there, I think the better, in my opinion. So if that's something that needs to happen, then probably will happen either second half of today or Sunday. So if it happens second half of today, getting to that 102, then I actually think that we might have that reversal on Sunday. But if it doesn't happen second half today, then maybe we do touch that 102 on Sunday. So it's going to be important to see kind of how Friday plays out. I'm not bullish right now on the short-term price action, obviously, the way I've been talking. So I probably expect more chop, and I wouldn't be shocked if we do have something like this to finish the weekend, or finish the week to start the weekend, to get maybe closer to the 102. Either we get there today or Sunday. One of the days I do feel like we're going to get there. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be more of just a choppy kind of trader day, as Saturday typically is. So that is what I'm seeing on the hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of similar. This does look like it's starting to get a little exhausted. So if we do have that choppiness on the hour chart and we do turn things around, I still think that we probably, even if we do have a pull back up today, let's say that we go back to 107.5, I think it would be a short-term opportunity to scalp maybe, but like I think that we would probably end up winding kind of back down to 105 and then getting to that 102 on Sunday. Like I said, I think it's either today or Sunday. Maybe I'm wrong on both sides. Remember, this is just a high level of where we feel like the price is going, but this does look like it's exhausting a little bit. So we could see something happen. If there's an aggressive push up after the chop on the hour chart and we do push up to 107.5, then this will kind of play out. Maybe we skip the 102. Who knows? We got down to 10. What was the lowest we got here? 104. We wicked down to 104. So maybe that's the local low. Who knows, right? If that happens, then we could see something maybe better on Sunday. But those are a couple different scenarios that could possibly play out, right? So I'm going to stick to a little bit of the bearishness. I know that's not a good feeling, right? But I've just got to go off of what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is that like the price has been trending down pretty much the second half of the week, starting on Tuesday, the start of the Bitcoin conference. And I told David Bailey, well, he probably didn't read it, but I posted on there that once again the Bitcoin conference does what it does and brings the price down. But yeah, so wouldn't be shocked if we do get down a little bit closer to the 102 second half of today. But there's two different options for that. Either we tag that today or we kind of see the little bit of a reversal, but I don't think it's going to be a full-on reversal heading back to 110. I think it would be a little bit of scalp opportunity to a fake out and then getting to that 102 possibly on Sunday, or we tag 102 today and then Sunday kind of work our way back up to 105, 107. We'll see though. So that is the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly, for the first time, I feel like we're actually probably will end the week with a red candle. And I'm okay with that. Look, we've had like a lot of success with the weekly chart on Bitcoin, guys. So we got to take our wins and can't be too greedy. And having this pullback's okay, in my opinion. Now, if it's extreme pullback, and like I said when I was talking to Shizzy, we go to 95, then that's a totally different situation, right? Now, I think that we probably break trend if that happens and we continue down. But I don't expect that. That's not what I'm expecting. I still believe in that M2 money supply. I believe the liquidity has been really guiding Bitcoin's price. And so I'm okay with having a red candle here and maybe having a sideways or even a tiny red candle next week, as long as we don't break down completely. And then continuing our journey on, right? So I think we're fine on the weekly as well for Bitcoin. Now let's get into the others chart, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 cryptocurrencies. So Ethereum, XRP, all those, the art in this is just everything besides the top 10 and Bitcoin. So let's go to the weekly here, because that's what I check for this chart here. Oh, I hate that. Every time I reset on this, it freaking... What? Give me a second. Let me fix this.
Yeah, man.
There
I
we go.
definitely agree with you, man. I definitely see potentially, tomorrow being tomorrow being a pullback, but I'm so bullish on Sunday. So bullish on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that Sunday could be a good day if we do tag that 102 today. Because what will happen, I think, on Saturday, if we tag 102 today, then Saturday will be more of like ranging from like 102 to 104, possibly even scaring you at moments, the high 101s or something like that, right? But then Sunday could be that opportunity to where we kind of have that bounce back, right? So let's go back here to the others chart on the weekly. So we have dipped down below, which makes complete sense, because Bitcoin is really just carrying everybody kind of in basically whenever Bitcoin does whatever it does, everybody says, okay, we're going to join you. That's exactly what's been happening. So we haven't been able to make it back above the 50-day EMA, which I'm okay still with this. If Bitcoin goes to 95,000, worry, because this is going to shoot down. This is going to crash. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think we're fine. We're probably just in this little bit of this kind of downtrend pattern here on the weekly. Bitcoin kind of bounces back next week. We get back to that 105, 110, and then we continue the journey in the first week of June. We get to that back to 110. Then we're talking about possibly new all-time highs already, right? So, and then that's where I think this starts to thrive. Now, there is a kind of a wild card scenario. Let's say that this FTX money does influence Ethereum, and Ethereum gets to 3,200 this weekend while Bitcoin's kind of struggling a little bit. This chart, in my opinion, will change. But even though Ethereum's not a part of this, we know that like as much as Bitcoin is carrying Ethereum and everybody else, once Ethereum breaks off of that, now the others are carried by Ethereum. So that's where the scenario could change here. So that's the wild card scenario. I don't expect that. I think that's a low possibility for this weekend. But who knows? We've seen crazier things. But that's what I'm seeing, guys, for Bitcoin's price action, along with these other tokens as well. This is not going to look great on the daily for the crypto bubbles. This is a 90%.
101. Yeah.
Yeah, 90% pullback. I'm pretty sure the top ones are going to look similar here. Yeah. Wow, even worse.
Just Farcoin.
Oh, it's down.
There it is, 12%. Tomorrow's gonna be bad, guys.
Well, I don't know because it's
Bad
Saturday.
day.
It's Saturday, so people kind of take it off, you know, in terms of like,
Yeah,
they'll just range a lot of times.
I'm expecting 102 now. Looking at Farcoin, bro.
Dang,
tomorrow.
man, white is up. What's white?
White
I don't want to
get into that.
54.1. And then you have Crow. That was probably based on that news.
It was,
you know.
Yeah. Someone in the chat actually said that. Yeah.
Yeah, Crow up 5.5% because of the filing of the staking of Crow. Was it Sequoia?
No, it was
Sequoia doesn't play in crypto, right? No, they don't play in crypto.
No, it was so much news up here. I don't remember exactly where it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Canary.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Let's kind of get into the next thing here. Let's get into the roll call. Find this banner. There it is. All right. So every day we do a first is first thing with roll call, and today it's actually one of our boys over in Las Vegas this weekend or this week. It's Danny Boy. He has number 24 on the year. Congratulations to you, man. I wonder what he was doing, man. Like, how are you in Vegas, but you're still able to grab that number 1 spot, man? Congratulations to you.
It's competitive.
Win number 24, 357 yesterday. Shout out to you. Lucky Lukey was right there, though. Right there. So Danny Boy says, ha. Lucky Lukey says, oh, wow. He said, I'm in Vegas, too, charging my phone. Like, he got lucky. I guess he was sitting there charging his phone. He did a quick refresh and saw it was open. And Lucky Lukey calls him a degen. Danny Boy said might have to play on ETH called Turbo Toads at 0.03 and something like that. They unrevealed still. Yeah,
dude,
Danny Boy, man.
He needs to be our NFT guy, man, because I feel like he's on top of the art for sure.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Danny says on Magic Eden. ASAP Benji is here. Mats is here. Shout out to you guys. Nighthawk says GM. We're so hungover. I can't imagine, man. Lucky Lukey is here. PJNZ again. Peanut Butter Jelly Time says, yo, what's up, all? End of week. Woohoo. He says, any of you run into Superfan? He's in Vegas too. Heroes. I mean, that's what it says. Woohoo.
I know. It might be a Martin. Martin, when he's like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. Heroes represent. Bitcoin Truth is here. Abstract, Chips and Dip, K99, Vader Time, Spin Drift. Is Rune June still a thing? I think so. What do you think? Rune June still a thing?
Yes.
Satoshi Nakamoto says, I am not at him back. Dogs on Air says TGI Friday again. Joko is here. Shout out to Joko. Vader Time. MoChain. Shout out to our guy MoChain. Choda Satoshi says big money in the on-chain guys. Is in the on-chain guys. Yeah, 100%. Chief Axel's here. Mark says, I'm back of my holiday. Need to catch up on your videos. When 1 million Bitcoin. I think that'll be in 2029. It'll be a Tuesday for sure. But I think that'll be 2029.
Why'd you pick Tuesday for that? Is it because of the song Going Up on a Tuesday?
Yeah, for sure. I actually, that's probably why. I can't remember exactly, but you're probably
subconscious.
Right,
it's subconsciously.
I just got so tired of people asking, and like when I say Tuesday, everyone's like, oh, okay, I'll wait till Tuesday. So it just became a thing. I just people are okay with waiting till Tuesday, no matter what it is. Drex is here, adopted by Bitcoin since 2018, 2022, 2026, and 2030 bear years. He's calling for 2026 to be a bear year, but you have to remember 2018 was also a high and a bear year, so it can be both.
You know what's funny is there's an inside joke for the people that are in the crypto community space that, like, when we always try to be optimistic, so we say But this time it's different. That's like the saying, right? Except for this time it's different this year in cycle, except for not good for it's bad, for this year, But I mean, I think that's one thing that we've all accepted, that the bull run year of 2025 is played out much differently than every other bull run year so far. Well, 2017 did have alts did shoot up early though. They shot up early. Alts shot up early, like in April.
You can say that though about January when alts did really well, right?
They didn't do that well though. They did well in November.
I mean, the AI
November is when they did
December,
well, which
January,
is also different kind of.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, it could play out good for us. That's why 2026 might not be that crazy barrier.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking we might not get a crazy barrier. Honestly, we might get like a downward year percentage wise, but I don't think it's going to be 60%. I don't think we're gonna get 67% ever again, but we'll see. Patty Booth says sup, unless Sailor goes down. That's like the one catalyst.
Oh, don't say it.
That's the only catalyst that I see possible for a barrier. And that could be 2027. Who knows?
Protect that man at all costs.
Yeah. Malam Yuri says Trump is only pretending to want everybody to win while teaming with the market makers to liquidate everyone before. Why would he want to liquidate everybody after telling everyone crypto safe? I get what you're saying, Malam. I just don't. He says may be wrong, but isn't most of their portfolio capital from rugging everybody on Trump?
But they did start. They started off with quite a bit with World Liberty Fi before Trump token.
It was the fees though they made. World Liberty Fi started with a huge amount of fees from Trump token.
World Liberty Fi came out before Trump token though.
No, it came out after.
I'm pretty sure that it came out before because World Liberty Fi was out in Q4 of last year.
They were doing a pre-sale, but they didn't have any investments. They didn't have any investments until after the Trump coin.
Actually, I remember there was donations given to them too, so they did start the portfolio. They did start their portfolio, and it was in the Trump. Well, we can look that up.
No, I'm 100% sure they had zero invest. They didn't buy anything until that Trump money came in from the buying and selling, because that was a big move over when they sold the Solana for the ETH.
Yeah, but back to Milan Yuri. So it's not rugging people because they actually provided the liquidity for they knew that the trading volume was going to go absolutely nuts. It's actually a very smart business decision for them to do that. Now, the Melania token, I don't know about that, but the Trump one, look, it's still it's in the top 100 tokens. I think it's a top 20 token in terms of market cap. So
yeah, but to his point though, when I'm thinking about it now, when you start a liquidity pool, you do pre-mine the tokens, right? Which is all meme coins are kind of pre-mined, and then you put that in the liquidity pool because you got it for free, and you are technically selling it, right? Because you're getting USD on the other side of it. So I don't know. You can definitely say that. Trump is only pretending to want everybody to win. Okay, that's kind of your same message. Itatoshi is here. It's been a long time, my friend. Lads, have a good. Hope you good. Actually, caught alive. I usually playing catch up. Yeah, my guy, man. Appreciate you as always. And that'll wrap up your roll call for today. We are live on Kick today for the very first time. So if you have a Kick account and wouldn't mind following us over there, so that's so now we're on Twitch, Kick, X, Abstract, Rumble. And we're trying to get the Arch guys to do one, but we'll see.
Dude, did you see my message in there?
Yeah.
That would be awesome, right?
He said potentially it's an idea, right?
We could help kick that off too. That would be really cool.
We could even call it the OnChain Revolution streaming. I mean, I should name it after us. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man. But that is your roll call for today, guys. I have a few more banners to get to, so we'll jump to these. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's go to Fluid Friday first. So every Friday we'd like to just talk about one of our partners. Our partner today is Fluid. Fluid's building some really amazing stuff, guys. We talk about them every single Friday. And I can't find their banner, but it's all good. But yeah, so if you guys head over to fluidtoken.com, and if you're interested in doing some airdrops, let's just say you have a rune and would like it to airdrop to your community, Fluid is the place to do that. Really simple, real easy. Go to launch Bitcoin at fluidtokens.com. It'll take you to app.fluidtokens.com/BTC. And you can see they have swap, they have lending, they have staking, airdrop, right? But if you want it to airdrop, it's super simple, super easy. You'll click Rune. BRC20 is coming. You'll continue. You can upload a file or you can add manually. You can put the address in and the amount. make sure you guys are doing 25. So if you want to do like 1,000, make sure you put 1,000. Make sure they're all, what is that called? Correlated with 25? Not correlated. Make sure they're all increments of 25.
Yeah.
That's the right way to say it, right?
Yep.
All right. Make sure they're all increments of 25. So if don't go 27, don't go 28. Make sure they're all kind of increments of 25. And then you'll select the airdrop asset. If you don't know the Rune ID, just go to Luminex. You can get all the information there, and then the decimals there as well. Or you can pick from what they have here if you're interested in doing the airdrop of one of these. But definitely check out the airdrop tool. If you use this airdrop tool, guys, it'll save you so much money if you're airdropping anything. And then if you go over to their staking, if you staked your dog, go get your dog, guys. Don't leave your dog in the vet too long. Make sure you go pick up your dog, claim it. You'll get. I claimed it the other day. I got like 30,000 free dog runes on my stake. Very happy with that. I did absolutely nothing but stake it, and I put it in. It was worth like 1,000. Took it out today. It's worth like 2,000, and I got free 20. I think it was like 28 or 29,000 free tokens. Absolutely awesome. So if you do have your dog, stake it. Make sure you do this. What other stuff do we have from Fluid?
Yeah, just claiming the dog. You just now announced that, but it made me think about like someone being lazy and dropping their dog off at the vet and just never get like. Imagine if someone did that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. My sister's crazy about it. She'll stay there with the dog the whole time. I think it's
really.
Wild.
I go get something to eat or something.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Call me.
But let's take a look at their Twitter accounts here. So Raul has been, I've been following Raul to kind of keep up with what's going on. It seemed like he was at like all the major events here. But Raul is the CEO over there, and it does look like his co-founder was with him. These guys were hanging out at a lot of really awesome stuff. They seem to go to all the big shows here. Raul was even seen with a baby. Right here, he's hanging out with a baby.
Is that the guy that just attends the events for free food?
It might have been. Raul actually put out a quote. He said, "I met some really cool person. This guy, he doesn't know anything about crypto, but he goes to all the events for the food." Which is genius. If you live in LA, find the event for that weekend.
Well, he has to know somebody because like he's registering for all these events, or he's just like doing a little research and saying he belongs to this entity and he gets in.
I know
it's pretty easy to get into those things.
It is.
Little pro tip.
Them. Yeah, no, seriously. Like you remember all the events we went to? How many actually checked the door? I think it was like 3 out of the 9.
I mean, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't think that there would ever be problems just because like we know most of everybody. But at the end of the day, it's like the forums were the ones that made me think that like, okay, when I filled out the form, it was just like anybody can.
It made you think that way, right? Yeah. So, and there's Raul, man. He's at the conference. But the big thing though is from the Fluids token thing is Charles Hockenson. Let me actually play this really quickly. It's really quick, but it's really awesome to hear Charles actually call out the guys over at Fluid. So I'm gonna share my screen here. So bring this up. Here.
It allows you to pay your transactions. And Cardano has technology and it allows you to pay your transaction fees in Bitcoin. It's called Babel fees. And one of the pioneers who actually innovated the implementation of this is actually right there. Great guy. And they figured out, hey, you know what? Let's under the hood. Data. You see that? It's like what you do with tariffs. They take heroes, we can't.
Terrible audio, by the way.
My guy sounds and looks like a grandpa. He's got to get something going on. He's got to change that up, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely 30, 35 going on 67. I mean, he's the oldest looking 35-year-old I've ever met in my life. So it's crazy. I'm older than Charles Hockenson.
And he looked, dude, even when the way he was talking and moving, he moves like a grandpa, and like his beard. I'm like, goodness gracious, you need a walker, bro?
Oh man, but yeah, much love, Charles, if you're watching this. Appreciate you, my friend.
I'm joking.
No, I'm just kidding. But definitely, guys, if you're interested in opening a staking vault, we say it every day, but reach out to those guys via the Discord. Join the Discord. There's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up. We did talk about something at the beginning of the show today. If you heard it, then you are in the know. These guys are building something really awesome. BTC staking is coming as well. You'll be able to earn some yield against your Bitcoin. Really looking forward to the details on that. So awesome job by these guys over at Fluid Tokens.
Yeah, I think those kind of things are going to be like the big products this next year and a half is staking Bitcoin, earning Bitcoin, and that's going to be amazing. But yeah, does that wrap everything up?
No, I got
Okay, I was
a
about
lot
to say.
more. Okay, so hyper liquid whale James Wynn Real just got liquidated for $100 million yesterday, largest wipeout in recent memory. James Wynn just opened a long position again, and then he closed it. He did close it. Time to let BTC run. You're welcome, cheap Bitcoin. So I don't know what this guy's up to, but what do you think about this guy? Apparently he started in crypto with $250. That's all the money he's ever deposited. Took that money to about, I think, like $14 million before he started getting risky with Hyperliquid. Almost had $100 million worth of wins and then lost it all because he got greedy.
I don't know how.
Damn, dude.
I don't know how accurate this is, honestly. I mean, it's on chain, right? So I guess like he like whatever he's saying is probably
it's his Ethereum address, right? So the people are just following his Ethereum address.
I mean, so I just can't believe that this is the entire like story. I feel like the way that he was so reckless by, you know, taking leverage with the $100 million like win that he had, right? Well, 96 million, whatever, it's close enough. And then not like taking 50 million of that out at least. I mean, you're talking about like people will do so much crazy stuff on Pump Fund streaming for $1 million, right?
I know.
This guy had 96, right? And so I feel like there's got to be some extra stuff here, meaning that like while he's longing, he has a partner that's shorting or something. Because look, he's been out on crypto Twitter. He's a target. He's known that he's put himself out as a target. There's no way he's that stupid to liquidate $100 million. There's just no way. Like I can't believe that. First of all, he had to get
educated. Like he's not like a finance major.
Okay,
like,
so you have to be pretty savvy and conniving to be able to get to the 4 million off of Memecoins itself.
Yeah,
you got to be pretty slick. You got street smarts. Yeah, but dude, that means he got lucky multiple times because like there was multiple tokens that he hit on, right?
Yeah,
and then you have to have some sort of smarts and skill set to bring 4 million to 100 million. You know what I mean? And so
he went long.
Okay, but like,
I got lucky.
So okay. I mean, bro, you can't.
If you take 4 million to 100 million, you're the greatest investor of all time. You think you can outsmart anybody,
which is exactly what happened to Alameda.
Yep.
What was it? Alameda Research. Yeah,
dude, they did it with billions of dollars.
You know what the problem was? There were smart kids that took like Adderall is the speculation, and so like they didn't even need that. Like, so I think they got too focused in with their smarts plus the extra like you know tunnel speed vision that they were
They were having like sex parties in the office.
Let's let the story. Let's let the people that write those stories. But yeah, you know, I talked about you know what the speculation was, and it's funny when we look back at it, right? But honestly, I think it became like an ego thing. It becomes like a greed and ego thing to where like you can't beat me. And I mean, some of the worst criminals in the world that are very smart people end up trapping themselves because of this, and so. You know, maybe it's that, but I just can't accept the fact that like that he didn't have some other kind of backdoor like shorting to save, like have some sort of hedge or something.
I think it's the dude who put $250 in Pepe, got lucky. It went to like 4 million.
Pick me.
Well, I mean, just go put $250 in a random coin, right? And hopefully you get lucky.
No, this is 99% down.
Well, he got lucky. He got the 1% that went up, right? You got
insider.
Everything he's done. I don't know if he's an insider, right? Because like, and then you know he took he went long at you know $49,000 Ethereum. Bitcoin. Rode that all the way up to whatever it was, right? So he's been long this whole time in a basically a Bitcoin bull market, and he made money that way. You know what I mean? So to me, he's just a lot of luck. Got up to 100 million, went on to crypto banter, and then got smacked in the face, right? Like he got famous and then thought he was the smartest trader in the world, and look what happened. So we've seen this so many times in bull markets. It's just he's the only one that this time around. But all right, let's move along here. All right, so RuneMine, Mine token, they were on the show yesterday. They're officially on DotSwap. They're the first token to use DotSwap's amazing new decentralized liquidity pools. Dude, we have decentralized liquidity pools on Bitcoin. Like,
That's
we
pretty
have
cool.
decentralized liquidity pools. We're gonna have DotSwap on a pre-record. We're gonna reach out to there's guys over there. I want to know exactly how this works. Like, I will really want to know. Like, I'm not big on technicals, but like everyone says it's impossible, and to them it's not. Right? I want to know the insides. So hopefully they can do that for us. But absolutely huge. And then Starknet that came out yesterday they actually just announced that they're full Bitcoin now. So for years, Starknet proofs powered Ethereum scalability. Now they're coming to Bitcoin. Stark proofs FTW. They're basically saying they're a Bitcoin L2 now. That's what Starknet's saying.
Well, did they say that? Because they didn't say that in there.
Yeah, they said it in interviews. They're no longer rolling up on Ethereum. They want to roll up on Bitcoin.
I mean, it makes more sense. I think they're more needed for that.
Yeah.
There's already like a lot of solutions for Ethereum, and the scalable solutions are more of like layer 2s that that handle a lot of that. But like Starknet is actually needed for Bitcoin. That kind of tech is needed for Bitcoin because Bitcoin is
and it's
Bitcoin is what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, I mean, optimistic rollups seem to be winning on Ethereum, right? Like that's what Coinbase is using. That's what Optimism using. Like everyone who's building an L2 is going through Optimism, and they're optimistic proofs.
Yeah, the product's already there, or like the competition's already like the market's already kind of cornered there, right?
Yeah, well, optimistic proofs are different than zero knowledge. Zero knowledge proofs are they're more decentralized in that way. So they're more of they're proven. While optimistic is like we think it's going. It's very optimistic that this is going to happen, right? So, but zero knowledge is the way to go. That's the Bitcoin way for sure. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think but one by one, we're starting to see it. And there was a good point. Who did we have on? And I said, do you think that there's a lot of layer 1s that are realizing that they want to kind of help Bitcoin layer 1 asset scale? And I forgot who it was we were talking to. Who said, well, layer 1s that don't have anything going on. Who was it? Do you remember who that was?
Jeff?
Was it Jeff?
It might have been.
It sounds like something he'd say, but I think it was somebody else though. But anyhow, but I think that was more of a funny kind of response to it. I actually think that like a lot of this kind of coming back to Bitcoin is happening. You know what I mean? 100%. And so like Starknet is another like example of that. And you have I could go through them all the time, but like the ICPs, the Cardanos, the Nears, the what's next? What's next? I mean, we'll see.
You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking for right now we have USDC Starknet. I'm looking for Ethereum Starknet. How cool would that be? Being on DotSwap with liquidity and
on Bitcoin.
Potentially on Bitcoin, right? And then potentially, you have Starknet token, and then you have this token and that token and that. I mean, there's
you're talking about at this point, you're talking about you're gonna see WETH period, blah blah blah.
Well,
period.
I don't even know if it would be double ETH because it would just be because Starknet has native ETH on it because zero knowledge proofs. There's zero knowledge bridging, so it would just be ETH Starknet.
Well, you still need to collateralize it. That's the whole reason why the liquidity is so low for USDC.
No, but they bridged USDC, right? They bridged.
I know, but there's no liquidity for it, right?
Well, you'd have to add liquidity for someone, but somebody could.
Somebody has been, because I think it was 1 Bitcoin when it first started. It was like 1 Bitcoin, and last time you and I checked, it was 84,000. So it jumped up 14,000. That'd be interesting to check and see what it's at now. I mean, the faster they get to the actual price, the best. Because it's pretty exciting to see the fact that USDC is in a rune. It exists as a rune right now. So.
And it's super easy. You just gotta go to it. Here, I'll actually show my screen, but we kind of look at it together. But if you go entire, okay, so this is it right here. If you guys want to swap for USDC, it's right on the front page of DotSwap. You click it, and then you put 1 Bitcoin in here. So
they lost liquidity.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem right now.
Yeah, but it just takes one player to come in. And
go to the pools. Go to the pools and let's see what the pool for USDC looks like right now. It's probably really small. I don't even think you need to go to that. You don't need it. No, you just click on top pools. Click on that. Okay. Yeah. and you should see. Okay, there it is, right there. So that's the problem. There's only 3 Bitcoin there.
Yeah.
They need more
that is the problem.
liquidity. And then, so once that starts to increase, because that needs to be beefed up a lot.
Yeah.
But once it gets beefed up a lot, which I do think it will happen, you know, because you want to have, first of all, why wouldn't you want? Yeah, I guess like if Bitcoin's constantly going up, then you're selling it into USDC. But
yeah, look at this
it's
though,
safe,
match
though.
internet money in USDC.
Yeah, that's big.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But shout out Starknet, man. They're doing some pretty amazing things.
But what's more exciting than that, real quick, is the fact that we're going to have an ecosystem of stables soon.
Yeah.
BUSD is about to be live, or it might actually be live and bound.
Yeah.
And then you also have, I know that's like a smaller one, but still, like my whole point is the fact that there's going to be multiple options. I never thought that we would have that.
I would never hold one of these though, honestly. If I was going to hold stables,
I know, but like it has to start somewhere, right?
I'm with Dan Howard, bro.
You have to have baby steps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And baby steps to me is you got to have a brand. You have to have brands that come out, and some of these brands won't survive, but the ones that do is good. Like 6 months is really early. 12 months down the road, then we have 3 strong ass stables in the Bitcoin ecosystem, which we never thought we'd probably see in maybe like 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I just want a circle to put USDC as a rune themselves. I mean,
okay, but let's say this though. Tether's on Lightning. Why couldn't that be bridged over eventually?
Especially easily.
That's what I'm trying to talk. That's what I'm saying though. You know, and then now we have an ecosystem of stables, and hate it, love it, whatever you feel about it. The heart of true DeFi has to have strong, formidable, stable ecosystem.
100%. But I don't think like I love Scott with Scott, right? They're awesome, but these Bitcoin backed stablecoins, Hermetica and stuff like that. I mean, they're awesome, but like I would never. I just couldn't do it. I would be, you know, I'd rather hold Bitcoin. You know what I mean? But that's just me. The SUI community has successfully passed a governance proposal to recover 162 million in assets frozen during the recent exploit of Cetus, a decentralized exchange on the SUI blockchain. The decision enables a one-time, so this is they're saying one time, Yagobi. We're only doing this one time. Upgrade designed to transfer the frozen funds from the attacker-controlled wallets to the secure multi-signature wallet of Cetus. This is a the multi-signature. I looked into it. It's 3 companies. One of them is SUI Foundation. One of them is Cetus, and one is another one. I never heard of them until then. I didn't get a chance to write them down. But so it's a multi-sig by those 3 companies. What do you think about this? What do you think of this role? Is basically frozen funds that are going to actually transfer them out into Cetus. I mean, this is I don't know what to think.
I hate the people that stole them. So
yeah,
I hate them more than I hate this. I mean, that's me personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I hate people that have ill intent and do bad things to people that don't have ill intent, or people are just trying to live their everyday lives. So for me, yes, I don't love the fact that SUI can press pause and you roll back whatever the hell, but let's remember
roll back. It's frozen funds.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, all those kind of are in the same category of like, okay, this shit's centralized, right? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Solana survived it and thrived. So here's my deal. If you want true decentralization, come to layer 1 Bitcoin, do stuff there only with layer 1 Bitcoin, and then you'll deal with that. If you are dealing with true kind of decentralized applications and stuff like that, right? But other places in crypto right now, there might be a couple different, like Monero's probably like that, but no one plays over there because it's just so decentralized. It's to the point to where it's like people are like, I don't know how I feel. And then everything else is there's going to be a centralized component to where you can, like, you know, emergency switch. It's just that's how it is. Ethereum, okay, probably closest out of that group.
I don't know. I just kind of does suck, but I just kind of wish they would just let it go. I mean, if this happened with DotSwap, right? Oh, hold on. If this happened with DotSwap, right? If Cetus was DotSwap, and all those funds were taking out of DotSwap, there's nothing DotSwap can do. There's nothing. Bitcoin's not going to pause the chain.
I know, but so you know that while you're playing over here.
I would be like, sorry, Cetus, we're sorry this happened to you, but we're not gonna like, you know, do this to our chain. We are a decentralized chain. I think SUI would strive a lot more and a lot quicker this way then they are going this route.
I actually completely disagree, because this is like, people thought this was the end of Solana when they paused the chain, and whenever they basically took a DAO vote and didn't let that whale sell down all his Solana or whatever that situation was, right? And so for me, I think you just got to personally have the mindset of, where am I playing right now? Where are the playgrounds? And there's very limited, you know, maybe 3, 5 completely decentralized areas. Yeah, I'm probably saying too many, honestly.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, just Ethereum, Bitcoin. Really,
I mean, like, I'm just trying to say maybe there's something out there that I haven't seen or whatever. And then everything else, the shit's on the table. But being that it's centralized, you might get screwed if you're a huge whale and you need to, like, you could make hundreds of millions of dollars through like a fluke or something, and then you need to sell down just exactly like the Solana guy or whatever. Or so there's going to be rare situations, or on the beneficial side, where your funds can kind of be protected because of the centralization. So that's all I'm saying, is like, I think that, like, these two mindsets you got to have when you enter the realm of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, we have to agree to disagree. I'd rather them go on the side of decentralization. I believe decentralization is the way to go, and you just let it ride. I mean, they built on your chain, right? Their smart contract was bad, not yours. I don't think you should like screw the chain over, give the chain a bad look, a bad name for one shitty protocol.
Well, but that happens. That is what happens. You know, users are like, if they lose their money, if users lose their money.
But when you say Solana rolled back the chain, that was a Solana fault. That was a fault of the chain. That was a fault of the code of the chain. This was a fault of a product built on there. So what, you know what I mean? So you can do it every time this happens. You're gonna oh, this protocol fucked up. Let's come in and save their asses again. I mean, like, if your bank had somebody mess up that worked for your bank, and you lost all your funds in your bank, would you want your bank funds back? Well, that's why my bank, though, is up to $200,000, right? Like,
that's what. So
I'm FDIC certified.
So that is maybe a regulation will come in eventually for something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think you just screw over the name of your chain. I mean, I will never use SUI ever again after that. I think it's trash now, in my opinion.
Well,
I think it ruined its entire reputation.
But millions of people
by trying to save Cetus.
But millions of people will. I mean, it happened with Solana.
Again, that was a Solana fault.
But it doesn't matter. It wasn't even just that. It was also the fact that FTX had all those funds and was kind of centralized in terms of like ownership of it, and crashed as FTX crashed. So like, Solana's come back from the grave, like, multiple times.
Decentralization. So what happened with the first pause and the second pause was somebody found a way to print multiple Solana. So all they did was they didn't roll back the chain. They just, confiscated that Solana and burned it. Right, like, it wasn't like that
wasn't the situation I was talking about. The situation I was talking about was whenever there was a free fall in price because of the FTX part.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop
hold on. And because of that, this huge whale was going to dump all his Solana before the price dumped super low, and they paused it because it would have crashed the price completely. And
he was staked. I'm
telling
you,
that's not the case. Or he was going to unstake. Or he was going to unstake and get rid of it all. Is my point.
But again, that wasn't Solana. That was the protocol itself. That wasn't Solana.
No, it's because the price was free falling down, and because he was. Well, let's look it up, and we can talk about that on the side.
Yeah, we can talk about it. 100%.
But my point that I'm making is that regardless of what you're saying, a lot of people counted Solana dead. Is that true?
No.
Yes, there was a lot of people that were like, "I'm not touching Solana." Like, Solana is.
And there's a lot of people who are saying, "I'm buying the dip." I mean, you're going to get the same when Bitcoin crashes. You get this when Bitcoin went to 16,000. Everyone and their mom was saying this is going to crash to 3K.
Yeah, but
Taylor's going to get liquidated.
The crash was different though, because it wasn't about like Bitcoin's Solana's crash had a lot to do with like the influence of FTX too, right? Correct or not?
Well, they held a lot of the Solana token, but they also held a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of Ethereum as well. But they were like, they had like 20% of the Solana token. So yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, any big whale goes down. If Taylor goes down and holding on to Bitcoin, it's going to be.
So that's a different story. Like, that's a day I hope I never see.
Well, it's going to happen. I mean,
hopefully it
2028 bear market, bro. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, I just think this is way worse than whatever happened to Solana. But moving on, Newbit, the wait is over. Satoshi game airs tonight. 11 contenders, one shot at the crown, May 30th, guys. That is tonight at 8 p.m. GMT. I guess it's going to be in a few hours, honestly. But we are actually hosting that event. So if you're actually interested in coming in and watching that, it'll be on the Bitcoin.com X account. Definitely check that out later. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Sats Terminal. Dog Quest week continues. Don't forget to check out the new quest. So guys, Sats Terminal now has some amazing quests over there from Dog. I think if you buy a little dog, trade a little dog, you actually get insane amount of points. So definitely check that out. And the last two things here, Polygon co-founder Naliwa hinted at a possible integration between Litecoin and Polygon's ag layer, sparking discussions about cross-chain liquidity, utility, and scalability and enhancements. Litecoin achieved a milestone by integrating its first zero-knowledge ZK rollup through Bitcoin OS. The advancement enhances the network scalability and privacy. So two monster things for Litecoin. I forgot they were down here. But yeah, 100%. What do you think about this Litecoin stuff?
Good for them. They need some kind of activity for their ecosystem, bro. Like the Litecoin Summit 100%. Was probably the best thing. I just saw that picture with, I think, Adam McBride. Was he in it? But like Charlie Lee was sitting there, and it looked like Chong from Cheech and Chong, one of the guys. I know it wasn't him, but that dude looked like him. But yeah, I think this is good for Litecoin. Hey, get some stuff going, man. Like, get back in the news, get some excitement going. Yeah, crypto decoded. I'm not sure. I
don't know what that word means.
Disingenuous, meaning that like not really being completely like truthful, like with your stance. Not you, me, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, can you follow up on what you mean by that?
Yeah, appreciate you being here. But guys, that is the show today. We have 158 people. Very slow day. A lot of people are on planes traveling and stuff like that. But appreciate all you guys, man. Like I said, that's not including people on Kick. That's not including Rumble, Abstract, and Twitch. That is YouTube and X. Appreciate you guys. And then we'll be on Spotify later. But that is your show today. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, yes. Make sure you tune into that game show. Should be fun time with that as well coming up here. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. As always, if you could check out our partners, greatly appreciate that. Sats Terminal, we hit on that already. Dex Aggregator, Swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. We think they're going to be the future 1 inch of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Definitely partnering with everybody. If you're looking to swap for runes, do it at satsterminal.com. You're going to be able to find the most liquidity and the best pricing there. And then also they support Alkanes. Alkanes, my guy Shizzy's definitely in the Alkanes. He's actually swapped for Alkanes there. Another thing too, right now you can actually earn Amber points there. I know he hit on that. So take advantage of that. Those Amber points are kind of like, it's a little bit like farming points, right? So you know what that usually means in the future. It goes towards certain alpha, but check those guys out. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP's tech stack along with Bitcoin to allow you guys to use your Bitcoin wallets to place bets in their markets. Right now, you can actually place bets in their Blitz markets, which gives you an opportunity. It's a fun little kind of 10-minute perps leverage situation. Bitcoin, Solana, and BNB. You can kind of choose if it goes up and down. You get a 10-minute kind of slot to get the price locked in, and then 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong. There's going to be future features as well that's going to be awesome, like create your own markets. You could earn 1.5% of the total volume of everybody that plays on your market. So if you have a good social following, would be really great for someone like you. And then also you can refer friends that can earn 1% of their total transactions as well. Head over to betbtc.win to dive into their docs, learn about them. Their team is awesome. We will update you accordingly as soon as we get the updates as well. And then Emblem Vaults, these guys are OG Bitcoin builders and just OG in the crypto space as well. They started off by being able to bridge over counterparty, rare Pepes from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and they've kind of evolved. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Merlin, Bitcoin Layer 2, to Abstract, to Base, and eventually Solana. And right now you can actually kind of mess with their agent hustle, AI agent hustle, which is a big AI kind of assistant agent that helps you trade on Solana. It's free right now. Eventually they're going to have a business model with the Tensor token that rolls into that. But once they do have their Bitcoin tech stack integrated with that, you're going to be able to use him to help you jump these ordinals as well. And don't forget, they do have a Rune that's coming out in September with their TGE, but you can participate in a pre-sale right now if you head over to OpenSea and search Emblem Founder Vaults, and they are in ERC 721 form right now, so NFT. But once you get to September, they'll give you instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to launch here very soon with Hemi, Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs, as well as Botonics, the Spider Chain, which is another Bitcoin Layer 2. These guys are going to allow you to swap or, trade synthetic Bitcoin tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, Ordi, Sats, and the popular tokens outside of the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. Exciting stuff. We have a lot of videos with experienced traders that kind of give you guys some tips from the pros. But if you're not a gambler in terms of trading, you don't want to put the risk out there, you can also participate in adding liquidity to their vault and earning. A lot of people do that with Hyperliquid and GMX, and they're going to also offer that as well. So head over to Artura.finance, dive into their docs, head over to their Discord, ask them any questions that you have. And then Fluid Tokens, we hit on them today as well. They're doing all types of stuff with building in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They started on Cardano, but they were the first to offer staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. Make sure that you claim your dog go to the moon. If you put your dog in that staking vault, it is available to claim now. So you'll get your reward plus your initial dog that you stake there. If you want to create a staking vault for your established community, as a ordinal founder or you etched a rune with the community, head over to their Discord, get plugged in there, ask them any questions that you have. They're really responsive, and they'll guide you to kind of setting up your first staking vault for your community. Make sure you're taking advantage of their airdrop tool on the Bitcoin side as well. You can airdrop runes very efficiently, cheap, quick. It works very well for multiple different addresses as well. And so really cool tools there for builders. And then on the Cardano side, you can actually access their Aquarium tool, which you can earn Babel fees by providing liquidity or being a part of that system there. So really cool. Head over to fluidtokens.com, dive into their docs as well, and head over to their Discord too. And then Tokyo Wallet is the smart multi-chain wallet for Bitcoin and Cardano, and soon to be more ecosystems coming up, guys. This team is all about making the user experience the best experience that you can have. You can actually swap directly on their app for Bitcoin runes because they did partner with Sats Terminal to help them do that. Also, you can swap for like the SNEC token, which is a meme token on Cardano, the largest meme token there. And, other ecosystems to come, but their whole objective is to make this a one-stop shop for everything crypto, guys. Like you can even find us on there. We're in the alpha section on there, which they have a little YouTube section, which is awesome. But if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store, download the app, try it out. Let us know. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play, try it out. Let us know your feedback and we'll get it back to the team. But head over to Tokyo.io to really dive into that team and see what's coming next. And then Merlin Chain, uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. They have their Wizard 0.03 AI tool that guides you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, helps you swap, stake, and there will be more in the future. But if you want to help secure the chain, especially with the announcement of the SEC, proof of staking is not security, then you can actually help secure the chain. If you go to merlinchain.io and click stake, you can stake your Merlin Chain tokens and earn up to 15% APR. And then next week, they're going to open up the 6-month locking period that you can earn 45% APR. But this team has been partnering up with everybody. Binance Alpha, they just got added to Binance Perps. They're already on OKX. Who knows, maybe some other big ones in the West will start to pay attention to them. And we're expecting big things because we see a headline every single day from this team. But dive into their information on merlinchain.io today. And lastly, our integrated partners in Jungle, which was formerly Foxy AI, they are building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and they have a gaming ecosystem of builders. Bitcoin Derby is a part of their ecosystem as well, but they're also building the Cypher Striker first-person shooter game that we typically will live stream, but we'll let you guys know when we pick that back up on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, but we'll let you know when we pick that back up. And then Ordinal Hive is your Ordinal aggregator marketplace. So they're doing the similar things that Sats Terminal is doing, but for ordinals. And you're going to be able to find the cheapest ordinals there. And they have some really cool trader tools too. So check them out. We thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io, some of the best articles there, articles dating all the way back to last year. We got a brand new article just posted, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Go Corporate. Definitely check this out if you're interested, and all of our other amazing articles as well. And if you guys need a VPN, we have NordVPN. It's the #1 VPN that I use. Don't go to these sites with your IP hanging out. It's not a good idea. No one wants to see it. Definitely put it away and use a VPN to do that. Use Nord use our link. Make sure you guys use our link too. Don't go to nord.com. You make sure you go to OnChainRevolution.io and get our link from there. If you guys need merch for any event in the future, definitely check out the store tab. We got jackets, hats, coats. I'm going to be adding some stuff this weekend, so definitely check that out. We got some pretty amazing stuff on there as of now, but it's some pretty amazing stuff, guys. Check it all out. And that is OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. You can see. Check us out all week, guys, until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.